Hey guys, this is the Mall Fox here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys the Albany Mall, located in Albany, Georgia. This mall's history starts when developer Aaron Aronov of Aronov Realty was granted permission to build a mall at the intersection of Stewart Avenue and Dawson Road in October 1972. The land previously was an old cow pasture, and ground was broken on August 20th, 1974 for the future Albany Mall. Plans called for a 720,000 square foot mall anchored by 3 senior department stores, but by the time the mall was built, the structure totaled just over 500,000 square feet in total size. A good ways off from the original 720,000 planned square feet, but still a pretty substantial size for a mall in this region. The mall had its grand opening on August 4th, 1976, with a bicentennial-themed ceremony for its opening celebration. The sub-500,000 square foot mall was anchored by Belk, which was a Belk affiliate of Albany, Georgia, Gayfers, Sears, and local Albany-based department store Rosenberg's, which served as a junior anchor for this mall. As is the story in many places when a regional mall was constructed, the city's downtown often took a turn for the worse, leading to loss of foot traffic in the downtown area due to big department stores leaving for the new malls, with national chains and mom and pops that could afford to leave bailing with them. This phenomenon occurred across the entire US during the 1970s and 1980s as malls were constructed, and it was the same story in Albany. Belk, and Sears both moved from downtown locations, and eventually when JCPenney came to the mall, they vacated their older store at the Brooks Plaza off West Broad Avenue. Over time, the entire city's retail corridor more or less moved to where the Albany Mall is, and, led to the decline of the downtown area of Albany. Due to the success of the mall during the golden years, an expansion happened in 1987, adding a new wing that featured JCPenney as its anchor store. As I mentioned earlier, JCPenney ended up relocating from another plaza that was closer to downtown Albany, and with the additional wing in JCPenney, the total size of the Albany Mall was now 680,000 square feet, roughly. Now, unfortunately, there's a lack of archived newspapers that cover Albany, Georgia, and the Albany Mall. So I don't know when this mall got a renovation. However, it almost certainly did get a renovation because this mall was built in 1976, and malls that were built in 1976 just don't look like this. This has a lot of like the late 80s, early 90s vibes, especially with the pastel color like in-ground water fountain that's at the front of the mall when we came in. They've unfortunately covered that with like a wood slab that's covered in fake grass. But I found a video on a news station from like a decade ago that shows the fountain in action. And I have a couple pictures. I'm going to show those right now.
In our Facebook story of the day today, you wanted to know what happens to all the money found at the bottom of the fountains at the Albany Mall. Well, good news, employees at the mall say the money actually goes right back into our community. Throughout the year, the mall receives letters of request from local charities and nonprofit organizations. The requests are approved by management and money is handed out on a first-come, first-served basis. And there can be a little dirty work involved.
It can get as much as $500 to $600. We've heard from some of them. We don't really have totals from all of them. We do, just give them the coins, and then they're required to clean them and roll them or get them to the bank.
To vote on our Facebook story of the day, simply log on to our Facebook page, WFXL TV, to see the proposed topics, and then vote on one that you would like to see best.
Since we're on the topic of the mall fountain, rather humorously, in the middle of 2018, a man jumped into the Albany Mall fountain in the center court and just started frolicking around. I have a couple photos of that, and here they are. I almost wonder if they covered up the fountain due to that incident. The world will never know. A change would happen at the Albany Mall in 1991 when local department store Rosenberg's closed. This ended its almost 100 years of service in the city of Albany. However, the space was not vacant for long. A department store known as Mansauer's took over the former Rosenberg space later that year, which was said to be expanding their space at the mall. It was very likely that they had an existing inline space, and they were expanding to take over the junior anchor space that was previously occupied by Rosenberg's. Rounding out the history I was able to find for the 1990s, in 1998, Gayfers got bought by Dillard's, and thus the location at the Albany Mall would be converted into a Dillard's. Around 2000, the mall gained some big national chains, such as Old Navy. Old Navy blew out space located next to the former Sears that formerly housed KB Toys, Wicker Picker, and Lerner Shops. Lerner Shops ended up relocating somewhere else in the mall, and around this time the mall also apparently gained Gap and Victoria's Secret. What I did find interesting was that in the article that I saw where these things were added, it was also stated that the Sears wing of the mall, which we walked to at the beginning of the video, always struggled behind every other part of the mall once it expanded in 1987. Around 2001, department store Mansauer's would close their doors at the Albany Mall, and eventually they were replaced by Books A Million. Now, I'm not going to talk about the exact reasons why Albany Mall struggled, because it was a great many things that have affected this city and the mall and the retail corridor around it. However, over time, the Albany Mall has started to struggle. Into the late 2000s, vacancies would start to appear, and over the coming years, going into the 2010s, anchor stores would start to close. In 2017, following the decline of the entire company, it was announced that Sears was closing their store at the Albany Mall, and it closed in the early part of 2017. Since its closure, the Sears store has actually now been entirely demolished, and the plan is to build a Hilton hotel on the site. And work for that, I do believe, is still going on, as in they are still grading the land when this video releases, but I don't believe any walls have gone up. The structure is still far from being completed, but it seems like plans are eventually to complete it, and this mall will feature a hotel attached to it. So this mall was still owned by the Aronov company all the way up until it went into foreclosure in 2021, when it was then bought by big retail investment group Spinoso, who they still own the mall when this video releases in 2025. Since this video was filmed in August of 2024, Books A Million has unfortunately left the mall for a new location at a power center nearby. This leaves a pretty big hole in a wing of the mall that's almost completely empty now. Going towards JCPenney, it's almost completely empty, and that's really unfortunate for this mall. They have an uphill battle to try to keep this place viable going into the future, because for whatever reason, businesses just don't want to be here. And that's unfortunate. I think malls should be around for a long time, but Spinoso has an uphill battle. And this mall has a lot of charm, and I'm glad I was able to see it and document it. And I do plan on coming back here eventually, maybe in a year or two, if it's still open. Hopefully it still is, and see what it's like then. And maybe more history will be available then as well. But for now, this exists as a dying mall located in the southern part of Georgia. But that's going to conclude my video on the Albany Mall, located in Albany, Georgia. If you guys liked this video and you want to see more, leave a like on this video and consider subscribing to this channel and ringing the bell, that way you never miss an upload. Leave a comment down below if you guys have any stories you want to share about this mall, you know, your time here, whatnot, because I feel like that stuff is important to document, and I read all the comments. Or if you guys just want to leave me a nice comment to read. And otherwise, stay tuned for the next mall video. Oh, really quick, I am going to throw in, there's an out parcel at this mall that used to be an Office Max, but has since been turned into a Planet Fitness and Moe's combination. I've never seen that before or since.